This is Boost,
This is Boost.
helping leaders like you elevate employee experience and performance.
Here are your hosts, Luke and Laura.
Hello, welcome to Boost.
We've got an incredible show for you today. Let's get Jillian, our producer, out here to help kick off the show. Jillian, can you tell us a little bit about who is joining our show?
Our guest for this episode is renowned influencer, a man of many hats, and a self-proclaimed student of life experiences. Nate Brown is a true man of the people. He's the Senior Director of Customer Experience at Arise Virtual Solutions and co-founder of the CX Accelerator community. This guy is all about creating community. And today he's going to be chatting with us about examples of employee experiences influencing customer experiences, why creating a winning culture maybe isn't the best morale booster, and how employee expectations have shifted dramatically over the past few years. Plus, I hear he may just break out his mandolin and play us a tune if you stick around for long enough.
We've got to hear a good ditty from him.
Can't wait for this. This is going to be good. I've known Nate for a little while now. We've done a few things, a few collabs in the past, and this guy is just full of energy, you know. And if you're like me and draw energy from other people, you're about to get an overdose.
I can't wait to hear about his take of customer experience meets employee experience, how it merges. And Luke, I want to get on the same energy level as Nate. So how about we kick this off with a little game? Jillian,
Nice.
Can you help us out?
Oh, absolutely. I think it's time for a little Two Secrets and a Lie. So how Two Secrets and a Lie works is that I will bring three different items to you. They can be stats about employee engagement and experience. They can be facts. They can be figures. They can be anything that I come up with. I can trick you any way I want because I'm the producer.
Oh,
But I will bring you those three items and you have to sniff out the lie. You have to pick the one lie that I bring to you, okay?
Done.
all right.
Got it.
I've got my detective hat on.
All right. Today's theme for the game is gamification. So we'll be talking about a lot of employee experience, trendy topics on Boost. And so today I have three different gamification stats for you and you have to pick out the lie.
All right.
Okay. Number one, 90% of employees say gamification makes them more productive at work. Number two, employees experience a 60% increase in engagement with a gamified work experience. Number three, companies using gamification for either employees or for their customers are 2 times more profitable than those who do not use gamification.
Whoa. All right. I feel like we've got some serious truth bombs in there.
I'm gonna dive in. I'm gonna go with C.
Interesting.
Okay.
I
I just want it to be more than 2 times.
I'm going to go with A.
Okay.
Actually.
So for our very first game of Two Secrets and a Lie, Luke, you are correct. You sussed out the lie. Companies using gamification are actually 7 times more profitable than those who do not use gamification.
Holy
7
moly.
times.
7 times.
That's
All right.
incredible.
Man, Luke. Congrats.
Thank you. I'll
He
take
knew
the
it was
crown this
higher.
week.
He
This will
knew
be a
it.
temporary crown wearing. I will be getting it back.
Okay, thank you two for having me. I think you guys can take it from here.
Thanks, Jillian.
Thanks, Jillian. Introducing Nate Brown.
Thank you both so much for having me on the show. This is going to be great.
I'm so happy you're on this show. I've been looking forward to this. I said this from way back that, Nate, we're so lucky to have you as a guest. So thanks so much for taking out the time.
My pleasure.
So I've read somewhere that you call yourself a perpetual student of the world's greatest experiences. What is the greatest experience you've personally had, like, ever?
Wow. Ever in my entire life. I would say Carnival Cruise Lines. I just feel like they nail it. I mean, in terms of like the value of what you get, the fun, the magic that they create on that boat. I mean, the MCs are so on point. The entertainment's so fun. And just the environment that they create around everything that they do. They're so intentional. They're so about safety. And like my kids had the time of their life on that boat. And then I went back just with my wife, and like the two of us had a phenomenal experience, just the two of us. So it doesn't matter if you're a family, if you're a couple, if you're just going solo, they're just so good about creating an amazing experience for everybody on their ships.
So do you think that there is anything that can actually influence the way we think about employee experience versus employee success? So thinking about maybe those employees on the cruise, what do you think makes them so great to bring that experience out?
Yeah, well, a fascinating question. So when I think of customer success, it's maximizing customer value in my mind. Let's make this partnership so good that people want more of it. And we're inviting additional customers to come in. That's how we maximize the renewal rates. That's how we grow the business sustainably through customer-centric thinking. So if we apply that same idea, that same methodology to the world, to the universe of the employee experience, it's maximizing value to those employees. It's helping them to become the people that they want to be through their work experience with us. So, I mean, as L&D professionals, again, we have a huge role in that. Let's bring people to a state in which they can be proud of the work they do. They can be proud of the things that they're learning and the things that they accomplish every day, and give them the ability to see that transformation that they're going through in a way that they can sink their teeth into it. So I just think the learning experience is such a critical part of that. And then, it's maximizing the success. The idea of my partnership with this organization has caused me to gain so much fruit from this relationship. And I want to invite my very best, my most talented friends to also be a part of this. So employee loyalty, recruiting the best talent out there, these are the things that happen when we apply those same methodologies.
I like where you're going with that, and the thought that it's about adding purpose, right? It's about adding that purpose through the experiences they get, giving them the connection back to why someone's actually there. And I always talk about how when people wake up in the morning, they don't want to do a bad job. People want to get up. They don't get up and say, you know what, I'm going to really ruin this one today. People get up and they want to do a good job. And it's about facilitating an experience and an environment that gives them, the ability to actually do that.
Like when you feel like you have purpose, you have pride, and then you just get all of that good energy going. You want other people in there. You want to spread it out to your customers. I like that connection you made.
It's serotonin too. I mean, when we see other people that are doing well, and we're in an environment where it's not all about ourselves and like our own selfish advancement. Like if we can celebrate the advancement of our peers around us, that is the mark of a wonderful team, and a team with the capability to deliver exceptional customer experience in my mind.
Ooh. So you mentioned serotonin there. So you're saying that it's contagious, like is actually scientific?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Simon Sinek has a phenomenal breakdown of how, in the 1980s and with the other management styles, it was all about dopamine. Hit this objective, get the rush of dopamine. I don't care how you do it. I don't care who you murder on the path. Just get to the finish line and get your hit of dopamine. And that's how we incentivized people. But now, I mean, we have these community chemicals that I like to call them. I don't know if Simon Sinek calls them that or not, but you have the oxytocin, you have the serotonin. These are just as powerful, and they're longer lasting. It actually helps us to be healthier rather than put us in an adrenaline fight or flight type of mode, which dopamine does. I just need that hit. Whereas serotonin, it's like, oh, this feels good. I'm going to help other people to keep getting this wonderful feeling that I have from helping others. And that is so much more conducive to a customer service type of environment anyway.
Totally. It probably lasts longer. Like you're saying, with you have that all that adrenaline and you're just looking for another hit of dopamine, then you're getting super excited and then exhausted. Whereas this, I feel like I belong on this team, that lasts you. That's retention right there.
I mean, when I eat a pickle, I feel great for like 20 seconds, but then I have to have another pickle to feel good again. But like when I eat something more substantial, that steak stays in my belly for a couple hours and I feel great.
It's the strategic pickle is what I'm hearing. That's the secret.
Sometimes the pickle is great. I mean, I'm not saying in every instance You just got to be strategic about how you're motivating people.
Totally.
What objectives are you trying to achieve? There are moments in time when competitive based incentives are great and they can get people going and excited, especially if you do it in like a fun way. Because anytime you have a winner, guess what you have? A bunch of losers. So generally,
Yeah.
you're cannibalizing on the dynamic of your own team if you use competitive incentives too much. But if you do it in a really fun, exciting way where everybody's participating and it's just like, wow, we just shared an experience together that was fun and we're all going to remember that, spot on.
This is all on the fly. So in that spirit, I'm just going to shoot out a question. And one that we've seen this sort of rise of CX, and we saw this whole like we're going to take an outside in approach to our customer experience. But if we think about employee and the link between employee experience and CX or customer experience, how can companies transform their brands from the inside out?
Yeah, that's a great question. And that's absolutely where I start as a CX consultant. When I come into a new team, the first thing I ask for is, what does your employee experience look like and how do you know? And what I get is a lot of assumptions. Oh yeah, our employees they're good. They're happy, and it's like, all right, well, show me your employee experience data. What? I mean, we did our annual survey last year, like 11 months ago. It's like, so you have no idea then what your employee experience looks like. You have no idea. It's like, let's find out what our employees really think and feel, their perceptions towards our brand, which is the definition of CX. That's where we begin inside the house with the perceptions that our employees have of our brand. If they can't be authentic ambassadors and serve truly out of joy and enthusiasm for the organization, the customers are smart enough to feel that. They will know that. And the work quality will not be there. The experience will not be good, and it definitely won't be consistent. So we begin laying that foundation and building that compelling house where our people want to live in community with each other. So how do we do that? How do we get that data? I'm a huge, huge fan of pulse surveys. So I personally use Office Vibe, but there are many. There's Tiny Pulse. Qualtrics has an employee voice channel that's supposed to be very good. So there are many out there where you can take great employee experience data and know truly like the 10 areas of the employee experience analytically, where are we struggling? Where do we need to address time and energy and intentionality around our leadership? Is it the quality of our communication, the quality of our relationships? Is it our views and our approach towards well-being, mentally and physically, how we engage our people on those levels? There's so many facets to that employee experience. And if one is off kilter, it spills over into the other 9.
Totally. And I think it's so interesting, especially you can't ignore what's been happening for 2 years. There's just this whole new focus on all the things you're talking about, where people really care about things like well-being and bringing themselves to work and the employee experience and wanting to work somewhere that they feel proud. So what are some of the reactions that you get when you do come into a company and tell them, hey, we got to start really understanding where we're at to go to the next level? What do they say, and what do you then say back to get there?
It's always mixed, and it really shows the true mentality of the executive team. What will happen when you start to generate this data? Right now, they are probably built in a house of illusions in terms of what their culture really is, what their company, their employee experience really is today. And if you bring data that compromises that viewpoint, some people will be excited about that. Be like, wow, this is what we needed. Now we can move forward intelligently and really build something better here culturally that will motivate a great executive. I have seen other teams, and not recently, but in years past, I had one executive team member shut down the entire program.
Whoa.
Wow.
Because he did not want to deal with the truth, the reality that was presented right there in front of him. Came in and shut the whole program down instead of figuring out how to fix it. But think about where that company is today with the great resignation that's happening in this phenomenal job market that we're in. The best employees leave, but guess who stays? The C players. A players do not play with C players for long. If the C players are who is ultimately staying and running the show because they're comfortable just with the status quo and just locked into a comfortable job, it's those that want more and they want better. It's the A players that will leave fastest, then your B players next.
Yeah, but C's get degrees.
Ooh.
Not when it comes to
about
EX
that,
and
Luke.
CX.
You're right.
That one.
Yeah,
Touche, you got me.
But I think that's half the problem, right? Is that when you don't care about CX or don't care about your employee experience, you're just pumping out the middle ground, and there's no passion there. There's no passion. I bet you they're not the ones that any brands that are coming up in now. When you think about great brands, those brands are not hitting that mark for sure.
No, and they're not going to be around for long. I mean, the bar has been raised, and customers now have an expectation that is different. I feel like we as consumers, just in the general industry, we just didn't expect much from the organizations that we selected with our time and our energy and our money. Now we do. We have tasted of the fruit of Amazon.
Totally.
There's no going back. Like, we now have, you could call it entitlement. I mean, there's a whole range of words, good and bad, that in terms of how we have evolved as customers. But we expect great things, and those companies that aren't going to be intentional about employee and customer experience, they will disappear.
I think we really see it when people see articles about, oh, this person did a management taboo or laid off a ton of people, and then the customers have a reaction. It's like people outside of the company even care about how the leaders are managing people. It's this really interesting relationship where customers care about what's going on inside of organizations, and there's enough choices where they'll move. At least I find myself doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're in that world right now, right? All of a sudden, we went from like us as consumers going, we'll just take what you give us, and then we, social media helped give us a voice, and all these things that kind of gave the rise to CX, good plug, and but employees, we're at that place right now where it's about the employees have realized over the last 2 years we've got choice, we can do this better. The social contract that I have with my employer is just as important as the paycheck that I take home.
Let me give you an example of an amazing brand that's doing this right now. Midday Squares, based in Montreal. So they decided to attack full on the snack game, like the midday snack game. Just feeling like there's just a bunch of garbage in these different bars and stuff that we eat. And like, it started with a partner wanting to help her partner to be healthier with that choice right there. I want to create a healthier lifestyle for me and for my partner. How can I do this? And created this wonderful bar that's like, if a chocolate bar and a protein bar had a baby, this is the baby that you would have. It's a midday square. It's a peanut butter. And they're amazing. But like the brand that they have created around this, I mean, they literally started in their own kitchen. Last week, they sold 150,000 bars.
Whoa.
Wow.
In a year and a half, they have exploded. And if you look at the pride, the enthusiasm of just the brand, the compelling nature of the brand and the people that work there, they can do anything. The sky is the limit because their employees really care. They're there for a reason. They're helping people to have healthier lifestyles. They're doing something meaningful, and they're winning together. Talk about serotonin flowing everywhere. I mean, it's a giant reservoir of it, and a company like that is unstoppable.
Man, that is cool. And thanks for sharing that story.
Yeah.
I think we could spend episodes on like the whole brain chemical stuff, the whole serotonin and oxytocin. We have this naturally all around us with community and belonging. I think it's been one of the challenges in the last 2 years, and of losing that sense of connection. How would you encourage employees and get that message across that sense of belonging and community is actually going to help them potentially reduce that return to work anxiety?
Ooh, that's really interesting. I heard, I didn't read this. Somebody just mentioned that even Google at this point is starting to bring people back into the office, and they set the tone for so many thousands of companies. So that return to work, at least maybe a couple days a week or something, that really is happening. And it makes sense that people would be a little anxious about that. I mean, think about how much their context has changed as people. Another Simon Sinekism, we have the circle of psychological safety that we all look to be inside of. A company is a tribe. Tribal Leadership, another brilliant book. I mean, it breaks down effective tribes. And you have a group of like 50 to 100 people where you can feel safe. You feel known. They're helping to protect you. I mean, that is an organization unit that you can function inside of really well. As soon as it gets way over 100 people, you don't have connections anymore. It's too big. You can't connect. And if it's a really small group, then it's not large enough to where you feel protected. So like the biggest advice that I would have to organizations that are bringing people back into the office, put them in effective tribes. Look at tribal leadership. Look at those level 4 super amazing tribal groups inside of organizations that function like rock star teams that are they're still moving towards the same meaningful mission. But you've created a circle of psychological safety around your people to where they can re-engage, they can come back into relationships in a healthy, sustainable way, and they can get back to work and get excited about the work they're doing and the people that they get to do it with. Don't have them come in and just be overwhelmed with the reality of having 300 coworkers that they've never met because of all these people that got hired in the last 2 years. Don't do that to them. Have them come in and re-engage with a really healthy, positive
I haven't heard that before because I think it's something that a lot of people feel like both of you are saying where I haven't met all these new people. I only know their heads to their shoulders. So it's overwhelming.
Right?
All right. Nate, thanks so much for joining us, mate. It's been such an experience. Thanks for playing along with our games and being part of our variety show. It's simply just a blast to have you. So just a few more things before you can get out of here. Where can our amazing audience find you online?
Hop on over to arise.com. And also you can find me on Twitter at customerisfirst. Which now I kind of feel bad about that handle because I feel like employees come first, but it's too late now. I've had that Twitter handle.
I'll take the other one. I'll take the other one, and we'll tic tac.
It could be a great duo. And then find me on LinkedIn. Just put in Nate Brown.
So most importantly, as we head out, what is your number one rule for employee engagement?
Be kind.
That's it. That's all you need.
That's it.
Very nice.
Drop the mic. Nate's gone. Love it.
Thank you, Nate.
Good job. Thanks, Nate. Hooroo, I'm Luke.
Goodbye, I'm Laura, and thank you so much for joining us. For more content that will help you elevate your employee experience and performance, you can find us at centrical.com/boost podcast.
Boost. Oh, you're still here. We thought the audience had cleared out. Well, lucky you. You've stuck around for the encore. Here are the fun moments that didn't make the main stage cut.
All right, I love we already have instruments involved. So
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, that's a great call, Russ. Yeah, wow.
He's the only other person where I've come on and seen a mandolin on the wall. So when the first time I pick it up, still every time, that's what I play.
I'm going to listen to that today. It's on the playlist.
this is the new beginning. I think we got it.
Yeah.
Come on.
So good. Oh, well, thanks for setting the vibe, Nate. That's ideal.